Before Jesus came, in the generations before his birth, God's people, the chosen people of Israel, they had some different ideas about their relationship with God. They often thought God was distant, okay? Sure, they had the experience of, say, Moses and Abraham where God seemed close by. And, say, Abraham heard God and Moses would go up to the mountainside and encounter God. And sure, the prophets did have an encounter with God, but it seemed a little distant. But there's this period of time after the prophets when it seemed quiet. People didn't hear much from the Lord. It's not that they assumed that God was disinterested, but, well, the people would experience reversals. The people would find they were being, say, conquered by their enemies, and they would live in captivity with others. And they thought that God was away. When the Baptist came and talked about the one who was to come, people would listen to him because he was that herald's voice crying out in the desert, "Make way, make the way of the Lord come." And we have this story here on this Feast of the Assumption of Mary, where Mary, let's say the mother of the Christ, encounters Elizabeth, the mother of the Baptist. And Elizabeth has a good understanding about who she is and who their sons will be. And she wonders, why is the mother of my Lord coming to me when it should be I who am honoring you? And Mary picks up on something interesting. And it picks up on, say, how the people feel about the relationship with God, a God who, for so many of them, seems so distant. Mary is talking about a son who will come and change everything. And Mary is, in a sense, in her prayer, this last half of the Gospel in Luke today, is talking about a Lord who will come and desires us to be very close. And a Lord who is willing to turn the world upside down to get our attention and to show us there are new ways, different ways, ways of love, ways of mercy, ways of great closeness and intimacy that God desires for us. And he begins by sending a son. But all these things, he has mercy on those who fear him in every generation, shows the strength of his arm, scatters the proud in their conceit, casting down the mighty from their thrones, lifting up the lowly, filling the hungry with good things, and the rich, yet they're sent away empty. Mary is foretelling what her son will bring. And it's a little bit of a culmination of all this. It's not a scriptural thought, but it is a thought that's in the hearts of the people, the first generations, the first centuries after Jesus lives, ministers, dies, and is risen. They see Mary in the midst of her death being assumed into heaven. And it is the prayer of the people, the great desire of the people, that Mary, who bears the Christ into the world, will be born into heaven herself. We celebrate this today, the Feast of the Assumption of Mary. We don't have a scriptural account of Mary being raised into heaven. It's not like Elijah, who's going up into heaven in a fiery chariot. It's not like Enoch, who in Genesis is just walking, and he just walks into the Lord, and he goes away. And it's not like the experience, say, of Jesus, who's risen from the dead. But we do have, very much, the hearts of the people who are now not distant from God, but see through the coming of Jesus, a God who desires that closeness, that love, that we live with mercy and love and service for one another. Jesus calls us to be closer. And now we celebrate a day when God brings Mary close into heaven. At the beginning of Mass, I talked about this being a time of promise. May we think about Mary being one more example of how with faith and with faithful living that we will come and share in the promise of new life. It was there for Mary, it was there for the disciples. It can be there for us. Let us look and see how we live our lives, following in the ways of Jesus and living with the urgings of the Spirit to bring us close to the side of our Lord. Hey folks, Happy Feast of the Assumption. Folks, together, let us profess our faith.